Not long from now, our favorite noontime show, Eat Bulaga, will turn 45 years old. That is why it is considered the longest-running variety show in Philippine television. But throughout its 4-decade run, it has numerous rival shows that tried to compete with it. Let's talk some facts. Prior to the premiere of Eat Bulaga, the well-known variety show back then was Student Canteen. It was the first ever noontime show in Philippine television. It first aired in July 1958 at CBN9 and was originally hosted by Eddie Allard, Pepe Pimentel and Leila Benitez. Student Canteen has ruled the noontime slot due to lack of competition, which led to having consistent viewership rating. Upon the birth of Eat Bulaga on July 30, 1979, it gave Student Canteen their first noontime rival. However, it didn't initially went well for Eat Bulaga since the latter has been the #1 show for years. Eat Bulaga struggled with its ratings and advertisers for its first few years of airing. The competition between the shows was oftentimes compared as David and Goliath, as the little Eat Bulaga was going up against the giant Student Canteen. With the continued struggles, Eat Bulaga was in risk of being cancelled until they though of a great segment, Mr. Macho, where things started to heat up. Viewership started rising, advertisers started coming, the rise of Eat Bulaga picked up. They were then becoming a true rival against the giant Student Canteen. Not long after this, Eat Bulaga surpassed Student Canteen's ratings. In 1982, they started to air nationwide on RPN 9 while Student Canteen was airing at GMA 7. Eat Bulaga continued at high ratings, which led to the discontinuation of Student Canteen in March 1986 after the infamous 1986 People Power. GMA's successor to the defunct Student Canteen was their first station-produced noontime show, Lunch Date. Its original hosts were Orly Mercado, Rico J. Puno, Tony Rose Gaeta and Holman. When the show was reformatted after a year, it only retained Gaeta and Holman and brought in some new and old people to host the show. The show introduced new segments that challenged Eat Bulaga's reign in the noontime slot. In 1987, to level with Lunch Date's aggressive new segments, Eat Bulaga's Little Miss Philippines winner, Aza Sagara, joined the show and made waves in noontime viewers. It was the first time a child became a part of a show and brought cheerfulness only kids can provide. However, in 1989, major changes was brought to both variety shows as former RPN 9 executive Wilma Galvante and former Eat Bulaga writer Vincent Di Buncio joined Lunch Date as the executive producer and director of the show respectively. On the other hand, Eat Bulaga moved to ABS-CBN due to RPN's sequestration under the Aquino administration. The show helped ABS-CBN grow in rankings from mere number 4 to number 1 TV ranking, thus starting the decades-long rivalry between GMA7 and ABS-CBN. In 1993, due to its stagnant ratings, GMA7 decided to reformat its noontime show, discontinuing Lunch Date and replacing it with SST, Salo together. SST first aired on March 20, 1993, as a replacement for Lunch Date, hosted by Randy Santiago, Dennis Padilla, and Smokey Manaloto with Lizo Martinez, Anyanette Abayari, Joy Ortega and Giselle Sanchez as co-hosts. In less than 6 months after it aired, SST started to overtake Eat Bulaga in ratings by providing fresh interactive segments. Lunch Date's previous host, I. Delis Alas and Bayani Agbayani, who was part of SST's production staff, were also hired to be co-hosts for the show. However, as silly as it sounded, SST's fate was concluded when Eat Bulaga's contract with ABS-CBN expired and decided to move to GMA7. Their show was moved to an earlier time slot to give way to Eat Bulaga's block noontime show. This did not help SST's ratings, and in June 1995, the show was permanently cancelled. To fill the void time slot left by Eat Bulaga's departure, ABS-CBN introduced Sang Lingga Napo Sila. It aired its pilot episode on February 4, 1995, led by the Apo Hiking Society. During its first year, Sang Lingga led the ratings in the provinces and cities where ABS-CBN had a stronger signal. The real challenge to the show was deviating its content from the usual noontime variety show that Eat Bulaga presented to the viewers for almost 2 decades. Meanwhile, Eat Bulaga had presented new faces like Alan Kay, Jose Manalo, and Donna Cruz, and new segments such as Super C Reina and Philippine Bulaga Association. In 1988, a new segment was introduced in Sang Lingga Napo Sila. They named it Calendar Girl and was hosted by a newly formed trio in John Estrada, Randy Santiago, and Willie Revillame. The trio provided fresh style in hosting and delivered naughtier jokes on TV. This new segments helped improve Sang Lingga Napo Sila's ratings and thrived with Eat Bulaga. However, the main and original hosts of the show did not agree much on the changes being made. This with the addition of constant criticism from viewers that the original host's lack of connection with the masses, ABS-CBN decided to end the show and replace it with Magandang Tanghali Bayan. Magandang Tanghali Bayan aired its initial episode in November 30, 1998. It was headed by the newly formed trio of John Estrada, Randy Santiago, and Willie Revillame to go head-to-head with Eat Bulaga's well-known trio and main hosts Tito Sotto, Vic Sotto, and Joey De Leon. With its highlight segment, Para o Bayan, Magandang Tanghali Bayan overtook Eat Bulaga's ratings for years. In response with growing popularity of the show, Eat Bulaga gave its first millions on television through its new segments Meron o Wala and the all-time popular segment Laban o Bawi, which featured the phenomenal all-female dance group Sex Bomb Girls. For the first time in decades, Eat Bulaga has faced its real rival for noontime show. However, things went south for Magandang Tanghali Bayan on the August of 1999 due to the main host's green and naughty jokes. It led to the show's 1-week suspension, which prompted ABS-CBN to introduce major changes with the show, including the departure of one of the trio in Willie Revillame. Another triumvirate was introduced on Magandang Tanghali Bayan when matinee idols Rico Yan, Dominic Ochoa, and Marvin Agustin joined the show after Willie's exit. Their addition resulted in the show bringing in a younger demographic and a more wholesome approach to noontime viewing. However, on March 29, 2002, Yan died during his Lenten vacation in Palawan, and Magandang Tanghali Bayan later on reformatted on November 23, 2002, with new segments and additional hosts, after it had lost its victory in terms of ratings to Eat Bulaga. The reformat, however, failed to stop the management in deciding to bring back Revillame effective February 22, 2003, which led to its second incarnation, Masayang Tanghali Bayan. Magandang Tanghali Bayan aired its last episode on February 21, 2003, and was replaced by Masayang Tanghali Bayan as ABS-CBN's response to the noontime competition against Eat Bulaga. The new MTB premiered on February 22, 2003, and was simulcasted on ABS-CBN Channel 2 and Studio 23 nationwide, with Revillame reunited with Santiago and Estrada, along with co-hosts Padilla, Delis Alas, Bayani Agbayani, Mickey Farials, Aubrey Miles, Tato, and Bentong. The show gave out more cash prizes than its predecessor through the segments Super Jack and Poi and Arang Sulong, that gave away 2 million pesos as a jackpot prize. Before the end of 2003, Revillame resigned from the show in regards to his derogatory joke against their co-host Mahal. The show continued to air until February 2004, with comedian Vihong Navarro and actor-host Edu Manzano taking over Willie's place. However, This was not enough to compete with Eat Bulaga's monstrous run, which led to Masayang Tanghali Bayan failing to sustain viewership and was cancelled on February 20, 2004, 2 days before their first anniversary on television. The Masayang Tanghali Bayan was then replaced by its third iteration, MTB, Ang Saya Saya, which aired its first episode on February 21, 2004. It introduced new hosts in I Delas Alas, Edu Manzano and Arnel Ignacio. The show introduced a new set of segments, with a focus on reality talent-based search on the latter. However, these efforts were overshadowed by the silver anniversary special of Eat Bulaga, which received the highest rating of a noontime show, exceeding 30% in Philippine television. On November 15, 2004, MTB, Ang Saya Saya lost its 12 p.m. slot to Chris Aquino's Philipinas Game KNB, and started airing as an afternoon variety show on a 1 p.m. time slot as the network's strategic move against the anniversary special. After months of low ratings, MTB, Ang Saya Saya was discontinued and was replaced by the infamous Wowowee. This show was by far Eat Bulaga's biggest threat since it introduced a new format in noontime variety show. It was solely hosted and managed by Willie Revillame. Revillame had the different vision and take on running a show. That and his charisma with the masses, Wowowee lead the noontime show race for years. As competition got harder, Eat Bulaga did something they are great in doing, innovating. They decided to take the show in a different approach. To celebrate their 30th anniversary in 2009, they honored people from different fields, gave scholarships to honor students, and built classrooms for public schools in different provinces. Eat Bulaga also renovated their studio to accommodate more studio audience, install LED screens, and to commemorate the first death anniversary of Francis Magalona on March 6, 2010. Eat Bulaga also launched its widely popular segment One for All for One, Bayanihan of Di People, a regular segment which broadcasts from different barangays. The years of Wowowee's run were no exemption from controversies. The Ultra Stampede, which happened during the first anniversary of the show, led to the death of 71 people. The Guinness World Records cited the incident as the greatest death toll in a game show. Another controversy was the Hello Poppy scandal, wherein Revillame allegedly cheated a contestant during the jackpot round on one of the Wowowee's game segments. In 2010, Revillame threatened ABS-CBN management to remove radio/TV host Jobert Sucaldito, or he would resign from the noontime show due to Sucaldito's criticisms against Revillame and Wowowee. On May 5, Revillame left permanently. After negotiations between Revillame and the network decided that Wowowee would air its final episode on July 30, 2010, which was ironically Eat Bulaga's 31st anniversary. Revillame's show was replaced by Pilipinas Win Na Win, which aired its pilot episode on July 31, 2010. This was ABS-CBN's shortest-lived noontime show. It subsequently ended on December 31, 2010. It was abruptly replaced by Happy Yiphee Yehey, which premiered on February 12, 2011. However, the fate of the new show was no better than its predecessor due to Eat Bulaga's strong noontime viewership. Not long after, the show was then replaced by the well-known and still running to-date show, It's Showtime. It's Showtime first aired in a noontime slot on February 6, 2012. The show introduced segments from the Showtime series and new segments like Sign Mo 2, Advice Ganda, That's My Tomboy, I Am Po Gay, and Magpasikat. The show is currently hosted by Vice Ganda, Ann Curtis, Vihong Navarro, Jong Hilario, Carol, Ryan Bang, Kim Chu, Ogie Alcacid, Amy Perez, Jugs Hugueta and Teddy Corpus. They also featured the segments Tawag Ing Tinghalan, Reina Ing Tahanan, and Madling Pai Pol. All of these segments have high ratings to rival Eat Bulaga since 2016, with Eat Bulaga leading in Newtam and its Showtime leading in Kantar. With the current pandemic and economic hardships, both Eat Bulaga and its Showtime continues to help the community in whatever form of segments they provide. Eat Bulaga showed us its true and though form with its incredible 4-decade run. Despite its numerous rivals and hardships, it maintained its high viewership ratings due to its ability to adapt to each demograph's generation. On its 4.5-decade run, it has adapted to numerous styles which bear the tastes of its audience. However, Eat Bulaga also has its own issues. You can watch it on the link below.